It's 9 p.m. Monday night. While the rest of the world slows down, you're tuning in to the Final Boss podcast. This is Motivation Mondays, where mindsets shift, hustle gets honored, and the 6 pillars of success get broken all the way down. We're talking motivation, resilience, sacrifice, consistency, persistence, and perseverance. Hosted by the one and only Turbo, the CEO, bringing real talk, raw stories, and relentless energy to spark your week with purpose. So lock in, take notes, and remember, success ain't just a dream, it's a discipline.
Welcome to the Final Boss Podcast, Monday night edition. Motivation Monday. Man, let's get right into it. Listen, if you don't have it yet, go get Go Time. All aboard the fired up train. Motivation manual, motivation workbook. Listen, man, I'm trying to tell you, look, go get Go Time. All aboard the fired up train. In all stores right now. Books A Million, Barnes & Nobles, you name it, it's out there. Go get it. Listen, we have a great show for you tonight. Episode number 165, people. Hey, Chikandi, how you doing? How are you? Listen to that. That's the sound of success. Success, ladies and gentlemen. Success. So, let's get into the admin notes for the evening, man. Look, please continue to like, share, subscribe. All of our content, no matter where you see it. If it's on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, Kick, and Spotify for your listening pleasures, right? Go check out all of our platforms that we're on, and more to come. So, yes, more to come. I mentioned Go Time, all aboard the fired up train, which is your motivation workbook, right? Got that. Like, share, subscribe. Make sure that you guys are following us on our website, man. Go check out our website at the www.thefinalbosspodcast.com. That's www.thefinalbosspodcast.com. You want to shoot us an email, concerns, questions, anything on any of the shows. We're on 5 times a week. Sundays, sitting down with the Final Boss. Mondays, Motivation Monday. Tuesdays, Tech Tuesday with the SME, the Sensei. Wednesdays, we have Merger Wednesdays. And Thursday, which is my special guest episode, where I have my special guests on individuals, interview style, right? Interview style podcast for that. And I'm elated to say, man, it is an amazing day. It is an amazing time. And I'm glad you guys are here. To my smarts, to my motivators, to my warriors, to my final bosses, right? This is episode 165 on our way to episode number 200. And I must say, the beautiful Andrea is in the building. Let's give her. Yeah, she's in the building. Okay. All right. Look, man, you see the attire, you already know it's going to be one of them nights. It's going to be one of those nights, because tonight we're starting tier 3, right? We discussed tier 1. In the 6 pillars of success. Then tier 2, we discuss the building blocks of reward. Tonight we're starting, listen, so you can see my eyes, right? Tonight we're starting the pillars of execution. The pillars of execution, baby. Look, This is tier 3. Tier 3 of motivation. So we're going to go ahead and get right into it. So everyone, right? Everyone out there, no matter where you are, where you're tuning in from, and no matter what time frame you're watching us. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Welcome. This is the Final Boss Podcast. I am the Final Boss, and this is the Final Boss community, Final Boss Nation. We're on this journey together. We're on this journey together, right? So, Final Bosses, right? Listen, I said before, episode 165. But look, hold up, man. Hold up. Right? Get loose, breathe, get amped up. Get amped up. It's motivation time, right? Because what I want you to understand is this. Before you think this is, I don't know, you think this is a year in review, all right? Or you think this is going to be some type of feel-good session? It's not. It's not. And I'm telling you, let me tell you what it really is. This is a declaration, right? A declaration of war, right? A declaration of war. Because while the rest of the world is planning their next moves, while they're writing down cute little resolutions because it's the new year, they'll abandon those resolutions by mid-month. By mid-month, I tell you, right? It's January 5th, 5 days in. By January 20th, those resolutions will go out the door, right? They're cute, right? They're cute. And while they're hoping and wishing and even dreaming about what they might do, listen, you're about to enter the next phase, already executing at elite levels, right? So, see, for the past several months, you've been building, right? You built the 6 building blocks of reward, right? You constructed the 5 systems of sovereignty, right? You mounted the 4 weapons of warfare. You've gained vision clarity. You've got discipline architecture. You've got skill supremacy. And you've got relationship capital. And you know what? You know what else you got? You got financial foundation. You got physical vitality, right? You've got your time system locked. You're locked in. Your money system tight, locked in. Your knowledge system running, locked in. Your body system optimized, man. Optimized, right? Locked in. Your relationship system activated, locked in, right? Locked in. You've got strategic thinking. You've got tactical execution. You've got adaptive intelligence. You've got relentless follow through, right? You've built the infrastructure. But infrastructure without deployment is just potential that is sitting in a box, right? Sitting in a box. It's a loaded weapon that you've never used. It's the It's the fired up train, baby. It's the fired up train sitting at the station and the engine is running, but nobody is pulling the throttle. There is no conductor. But tonight we're launching Tier 3 Elite Execution, right? Tonight we're moving from building to dominating. Tonight I'm giving you the 6 pillars of execution. The frameworks that take everything you constructed and deploy it at championship levels, right? This is episode number 165, and this is where final bosses are made. Let me tell you, if you are ready to dominate from day one, go ahead and drop the fire sign in the chat, people. Drop the fire sign in the chat because we fired up. You just heard the fired up train. It's time to go. It is go time, baby. It's go time. Go, say it with me. Go time. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Go time, baby. Go pick it up. Go time. Yes, yes, yes. Go pick it up. It is go time. Look, if you're ready to dominate, you're in the right place. If you're ready to stop preparing and start conquering, you're at the right place. Look, because the building phase is over. We've done that. The execution phase starts now. All aboard the fired up train. It is time for us to depart for the destination of domination, right? Now, listen. Elite execution. This is phase 1, part of tier 3, right? Part of tier 3. But before we get into that, I was going to wait until the end to bring in the brass tacks, but I'm going to bring in the brass tacks. And then we're going to revisit the brass tacks at the end of the show. And tonight's brass tacks comes from none other. Me. It's my quote. Listen, and here it is. Building without execution is preparation without payoff. You spent months becoming the person who could dominate. Now it's time to actually dominate. The infrastructure is complete. The weapons are loaded. The only question left is, are you ready to pull the trigger? Right? Are you ready to pull the trigger? Now, here's what I need you to understand, right? Before we go deep, take deep breaths, right? Because tier 3 is not harder than tier 1 or tier 2. It's actually simpler. It's simplified, but it requires something most people don't have, right? And you're wondering what that is. You're wondering. I know you are. Listen, I know you are. You're wondering. You're wondering what most people don't have, and I'm going to tell you. Most people don't have the courage to actually execute, right? Because building is safe. Planning is comfortable. Preparing feels productive. But execution exposes you. Execution reveals whether your infrastructure is real or if it's fake. Execution shows whether you're actually a final boss or someone who talks like one, right? And tonight, we're going to find out. We're going to find out which one you are. And let's get into it, right? But before we break down the 6 pillars of execution, right, you got to understand the fundamental shift that happens when you move from tier 2 to tier 3, right? Because tier 2 was about construction. You were building internal system, external capabilities, competitive systems, You were creating infrastructure. But tier 3 is about conquest. You deploying everything you built to achieve market domination, right? Market domination in your sector, in your personal life, in your relationships, in your business, right? It's all applicable, right? So, tier 1 was you were building character in tier 1, becoming the engineer who could drive the train, the conductor behind the machine, right? You developed motivation, sacrifice, consistency, perseverance, persistence, resilience. You found your why. You created the momentum code. You established the cornerstone of magnificence, right? But tier 2, right? But tier 2 was building the train itself, the infrastructure, the weapons, the systems. You constructed the 6 building blocks of reward, right? Installed the 5 systems of sovereignty. You mounted the 4 weapons of warfare. You built a battle train that was ready for deployment. And yes, I'm talking to you. You. Don't go nowhere. We're just getting started. Stay right there, right? Stay right there. Tier 3 is driving that train through enemy territory and conquering your market, whether it's business, personal, relationship. You are about to conquer those systems, right? The character is developed. The train is built, right? Now it's time to move, right? And here's what most people miss. You can't execute what you haven't built, but you also can't just build forever. Some of you have been in tier 1 for years and not even know it, didn't even realize it. You've been in tier 1, always working on yourself, always developing your mindset, always getting ready, right? That's procrastination disguised as personal development. Yeah, I said it and I called you out on it. I called you out, right? Because some of you rushed through tier 1. You skipped tier 2 and tried to execute with no infrastructure. That's why you feel burned out. You're burned out right now. You're ready to crash out. Yeah, you ready to crash out. I know you are, right? That's why you failed. That's why you're frustrated and mad at the world and is ready to crash out, right? But get this. You've legitimately completed tier 1 and tier 2, right? If you've actually built the foundations, then tier 3 is where you reap the reward. This is where the fired up train that you spent months building finally pulls out of the station and starts dominating the landscape, right? And the 6 pillars of execution, they're the operational framework that takes you and everything you built and put it to work. Now, let me break it down for you, right? Right? The first pillar that we're going to discuss is pillar number 1, right? Pillar number 1. And that pillar is strategic deployment, right? And this is the pillar that activates your vision clarity through, get this, calculated action, right? Remember your building block number 1? You remember that, right? Vision clarity. You spent time defining exactly what you're building. Your 1-year vision, 3-year vision, 10-year vision. You know your destination. You've got the blueprint. But a blueprint sitting in a drawer or on a desk doesn't build anything. You need strategic deployment, because strategic deployment is the bridge between vision and reality. It's taking that clear vision and breaking it into executable campaigns. And here's how it works, right? Step one. But give me a second. I need a break. Delicious. Delicioso, right? Step one, campaign design. Your vision gets broken into 90-day campaigns. Each campaign has one major objective that moves you measurably closer to your vision. Not vague goals like grow my business, but specific campaigns like acquire 50 new clients, if you're in the business world, right, in the first quarter. Or you launch a new product in the first quarter. Or you're generating a set amount of revenue that you set in the first quarter, right? And step two, this is your battle plan, right? Each campaign gets broken into weekly battle plans. Every Monday, you've deployed some specific tactic that's designed to achieve weekly targets, right? This is where your strategic thinking from tier 2 gets activated. You're thinking 3 moves ahead. You see the tactical field in 360 while you're executing this move, right? And step 3, you have to have daily deployment, right? Every morning you wake up with clear deployment orders, right? Not a to-do list, but orders, right? There's a difference between a list and orders, right? And my military folks out there, we listen. Orders. You say, today I will execute these 3 high-value actions that directly advance this week's battle plan, right? Those are your orders. That's your clear deployment order, right? Step 4, after action reviews. I love AARs. I have AARs all the time, even with myself. I have AARs. Now listen, you know what? Something is telling me to check the comments real quick. Hey, Dr. Pepper, what's good? Yes, I believe in God. Yes. The devil worshiper? Wow. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. Love you, man. God loves you too. Hey, man, send that guy some love. The Silver Wanderer. Something told me to check the comments. Oh, man. Happy New Year. Oh, man. Oh, look. Oh, somebody said I suck. Yeah. Thank you. God bless. Love you all, man. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you, right? I appreciate you. So I do AARs with myself. I do AARs after each episode. I do AARs no matter what I'm doing. And if you're not familiar with AARs, they're after action reviews, right? You could do these every evening, right? Every evening. You review what you did that entire day. You discuss what worked, what didn't, and how to adjust tomorrow's deployment, right? Now, tier 2, right? Tier 2. Tier 2 gave you vision clarity. You knew where you were going. Tier 3 gives you the strategic deployment. You know how you're getting there and you're actively moving because you're on the fired up train, right? And when I built Sat DigiNet, right, I had vision clarity. I wanted to become a premier service disabled veteran owned cybersecurity firm, right? I want to serve Fortune 500 companies and government agencies, right? That destination was clear, specific, it was measurable. But vision clarity alone didn't land any business, right? Strategic deployment did, right? So I came up with 90-day campaigns in the first quarter. I established credibility with 3 mid-tier clients, right? Week 1, submitted RFP responses, right? Right? Daily deployment orders. Monday, complete a technical narrative. This is the things that I did. Review government compliance, right? Develop pricing models, right? Create different narrative statements that are required for contracts, right? And you submit proposals, right? That's strategic deployment. That's how vision clarity becomes actual results. And notice, this only works because I already had the infrastructure. I had skill supremacy. I knew cybersecurity. I had discipline architecture. I could execute daily. I had relationship capital. I had connections who gave me intelligence. I had financial foundations. I can look and see what these contracts were asking for, right? You can't deploy what you haven't built. But if you build it and deploy it strategically, that's the methodology that gets things done. That's tier 3, right? Now, pillar number 2, consistent application. This pillar executes your discipline architecture daily without exception, right? Building block number 2 was discipline architecture. Your 3 levels of systematic discipline, right? Level 1 was foundation habits. Level 2 was excellent routines, right? Level 3 was championship standards. You built the architecture. Now you gotta live in it, right? Consistent application means your discipline architecture isn't something you try to do. It's who you are. It's automated. It's non-negotiable. It's your OS or operating system, right? And here's the framework, right? Level 1, these are your daily non-negotiables. These are the foundation habits that must happen every single day. You must have a morning routine, right? You must have a work block execution, right? And in the evening, you must do an AAR review or AAR, right? That's your evening review. That's your time to reflect, right? And that's your time where you prepare for tomorrow. That's your prep time. If the day is chaos, if emergencies happen, if life throws you curveballs, or as the youngins say, life be lifing, right? These things can still happen. They're the non-negotiables, right? Now, level 2, you need to have weekly excellent cycles. These are the routines that compound into excellence. Study planning on Sundays, right? Do your planning sessions on Sundays. Do your executions on Mondays. And midweek on Wednesdays, you do a review. And then Fridays, you celebrate. You celebrate your wins, right? On Fridays. Now, level 3. Level 3 is your monthly championship reviews. And these are the standards that separate good from legendary. Listen, if you're not writing these things down, if you're not planning your life, you want to be a billionaire? Look, heck, you want to be a thousandaire. You can't even be a thousandaire if you don't plan. It's all about the plan. You have to invest in you. You're out here willy-nilly in it in life, and life is passing you by, and you're stuck, right? You're stuck. And you're neck up, drowning in water, trying to stay afloat, consistently and constantly doing the same thing you've been doing your entire life, stuck in tier one. It's time to get out of tier one and move on to tier two. It's time for you to recognize that what you've been doing your entire life hasn't gotten you anywhere. It's time to look at it from a perspective where you can see a plan, right? You can be disciplined about you, right? You only have one life, and it's not guaranteed, and it's very short, right? I looked up this morning. I said, man, regular season of football is over. Playoff starts next week. Unbelievable how fast time is moving. I didn't realize that I remember the first game of the season. And I can't remember the last time I was able to remember the first game of the season. But for some reason, I was able to remember the first game of the season this year. And that lets me know that time is indeed moving at an enormous rate of speed, right? But let me get back to it. Right? You need to have monthly championship reviews. These are the standards that separate good from what did I say? Legendary, right? Legendary. You need to have monthly metrics. Do a monthly metric review on yourself. Do an audit on your skills, on the things you learned, right? Do a monthly audit on your relationships, right? Do a monthly analysis on your finances. And you see what's happening here? That's discipline architecture. You need to have the discipline to do it. And that's why you're not successful. You are not disciplined. Yes, I'm talking to you. Yes, you. Yeah, don't go nowhere, right? I'm talking to you. That's why you're not successful. You lack discipline. Discipline architecture isn't just a concept. It should be your daily reality. Most people have discipline on good days. Final bosses, motivators, smarts, and my warriors, they have discipline every single day, right? Most people execute when motivated because they see motivation as energy. Motivation is a discipline, right? It's a discipline. Most people's routines fall apart when life gets hard, right? Final bosses routines get stronger when life gets harder because that's when we need them most. And we also know that comfort is the enemy of growth. Comfort is the enemy of growth. You need consistent application. And consistent application means your discipline architecture becomes your identity. You don't try to execute your morning routine. You do it because that's who you are. You don't hope to hit your work obligations. You protect them because that's how you operate. You don't want to do your reviews. You do them because that's the system. That's the system. And here's an example. This is I'm gonna share a little something with you guys. A little bit about me personally, right? Served 23 years in the federal service under DOD, right? I was a branch chief before I left, right? I'm the CEO of SAT DigiNet. I'm also the CEO of Final Boss Podcasting, LLC, right? I do 5 shows a week, right? Live for the most authentic and authenticity message that I can deliver at 9 p.m. I'm also pursuing my master's 2 semesters to go, right? 4 classes, and I'm done. And immediately following that, I'm going into my doctoral program, right? You think I execute all that because I'm motivated? Because I'm motivated? Because I'm motivated? No. Hell no. I execute because my discipline architecture is non-negotiable. I wake up at 5 in the morning, right? I wake up at 5 in the morning. I plan. I work. I prep. I have family time. I do evening reviews. And then I rest. Monday through Friday, week after week, month after month. That's consistent application. That's what separates people who talk about excellence from people who live in excellence, right? Now, pillar number 3, skill implementation. This pillar leverages your skill supremacy in real time, in real competitive scenarios, right? Building block 3 was skill supremacy, becoming undeniably excellent in your core competencies. You identified your primary skills, secondary skills, and tertiary skills, right? You built your learning system. You committed to mastery. But mastery that's never tested isn't real mastery. It's theoretical knowledge sitting in your brain waiting to deploy, right? Skill implementation means taking your supremacy and weaponizing it, right? And here's the 3 phases of that framework. Phase 1, domain denomination. No. Domain domination. Yeah, domain domination. You take your primary skill and you dominate, right? You become the go-to person, the authority, the one that people seek out. Listen, you must dominate that space, right? You must dominate that space. That's not bragging. That's strategic deployment of skill supremacy. You do this, right? You do this. You speak with confidence. You solve problems. You build the reputation of the go-to person, right? Now, phase 2, skill stacking. You combine your primary and secondary and your third level skills in ways that create unique value, right? Through leadership, through knowledge-based information, through development capabilities, right? Then you speak in excellence. That combination makes you different from everyone else, right? That makes you different from everyone else, right? Skill stacking creates competitive moats that are almost impossible to replicate. Now, phase 3, which is a real-time application. You deploy your skills under actual pressure in real scenarios where money is on the line and reputation is also on the line. This isn't practice. This isn't simulation, right? This isn't someday when I'm ready. This is real competitive, high stakes execution. This is where most people fail. They've got skills, but they're afraid to deploy them when it matters. They can write a great copy, right? But they won't pitch it. They can code the highest level of software, but they won't launch the product. They can give incredible advice, but they won't charge for what it's worth. Skill implementation means you take your supremacy and you put it on the line. You submit that proposal, you launch that product, you change your premium rates, you compete for that contract, you step on that stage and you publish that content, right? And here's the thing, sometimes you'll win, sometimes you'll lose. But every day, every single deployment, win or lose, makes your skills sharper. Every pitch refines your communication. Every launch teaches you about your market. Every competition shows you where you need to improve. That's skill implementation. That's how skill supremacy becomes market domination, right? Now, pillar number four. Pillar number four, network activation. This pillar converts your relationship capital and tangible opportunities and results. Building block number four, the building blocks reward, was relationship capital. Building the three types of relationships you need. Builders, right, that will grow with you. Building the bridges that will connect you. And building the benefactors who will invest in you. You've spent time cultivating these relationships. You've added value. You've built trust. You've created the capital. That's relationship capital. But relationship capital never gets activated. It's like money sitting in a checking account, earning no interest. It's there, but it's not working for you. Network activation means strategically deploying your relationships to create mutual value and opportunity. Here's how this works without being transactional, right? That's how it works without being transactional, right? You need precision. You need precision ask. When you need something, be specific. Be 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 specific, man. Listen, right? Precision ask. Gotta ask the right people in your network. You can't be asking, hey, can anyone help me with anything? You need to be asking, hey, I need this specific thing, right? You got to be precise. That's valuable to both parties. Communication, right? The real decision makers get valuable information. That's why you need to communicate. You want those leads? You want to get qualified for the next level of business? You need to communicate. You need to consistently deploy value, right? You have to continuously deploy value, right? You have to do it constantly, right? You have to have a system. You have to share opportunities. Don't gatekeep. Share opportunities. Make introductions when feasible. Provide expertise when you're capable. And amplify those in your box, right? Amplify those in your box. So when I do need to activate my network, I've got massive relationship capital that's in the bank, right? Now, principle number 3, strategic partnerships. You identify people in your network who have complementary capabilities and you build strategic partnerships, right? You need that, right? You need that. Here's an example, right? Tech Tuesdays. Anybody who's seen my Tech Tuesday show know that it's a show that I share a platform with the sensei. He's my SME. And we have deep technology analysis on different high level tech conversations on AI and things of that nature, right? And we're both deploying our relationship capital. Those skills are used to create something bigger, right? Than either us can build alone, right? Now, you got to have a principle number 4, which is activation. And it's the opportunity of circulation. When opportunities come to you that aren't right for you, but are perfect for someone else in your network, Circulate that opportunity. Push it along, right? Push it along. You can make the introduction, right? It's okay. It's okay to give that business to someone else that's is better suited for, right? That's how you activate relationship capital without it being transactional, right? And network activation isn't about using people. It's not about reaching out when you need something. It's not treating relationships as transactions like ATMs, right? It's not being fake or manipulated. But this is what it is, right? It's strategic deployment of mutual value, creating win-win situations and opportunities, leveraging your trust that you've already built, operating as a connector and a value creator, right? Through my network is how I built these systems for Set DigiNet, for Final Boss, for my social media platforms, right? My network. Not because I use people, but because I built genuine capital over 23 plus years. And I activate it strategically when opportunities arise that create mutual value, right? That's network activation. Now, here's pillar number 5, right? Pillar number 5. Don't go nowhere. Don't go nowhere. Don't go nowhere. You need this, man. I'm trying to tell you. Stay right there. Pillar number 5. This pillar makes your financial foundation work, grow, and multiply. Building block number 5 was financial foundation. Your 4 levels from stability to impact, survival, security, sovereignty, significance. You built the foundation, you established systems, you created stability. But resource multiplication is where your money starts making more money, where your time starts buying more time, where your assets start generating more assets. This is the shift from working for money to money working for you, right? And here's the framework, right? You need income diversification, right? You need income diversification. You stop relying on one income source and build multiple revenue streams, right? You you need at least 6 income streams, right? Because if one dips, you got 5 others. That's multiplication through diversification, right? And then the second level to that, leverage deployment. You use other people's time, money, and expertise to multiply your results, right? You do this. You got to have people on your team. You need people to assist. You need to leverage people's skills. That's how you multiply, right? That's how it's a win-win. People help you execute your vision and you are helping them with theirs, right? Now, you systematically acquire assets, right? That generate passive or semi-passive income. It can be real estate, intellectual property, equity positions, business systems, books, right? Books like, hey, Go Time, the Fired Up Train, all aboard. Books. It's an asset, right? It's an asset. Once written, they generate revenue while you sleep. And books never die. They generate for a lifetime, right? They generate for a lifetime. And some of them appreciate in value, right? I remember as a kid, I used to love reading. What was one of my favorite books I used to read when I was a kid? Oh, Encyclopedia Brown. Oh man, I used to love me some Encyclopedia Brown when I was a kid, man. And I was doing some research the other day on Amazon. I was like, man, let me see how much these books are. If they're still out there, they're still out there, and they have appreciated in value. Some of those books are $200+, right? Listen, assets. The podcast is an asset. Once created, it builds an audience and creates opportunities continuously, right? And I don't even need to talk about Sat Diginet, right? Those frameworks and methodologies and what I built in that, it's a framework, right? Now, multiplication level number 4, right? Reinvest cycles. You take profits and you systematically reinvest them into growth. You're not spending every dollar you make. You're not hoarding it either. You're strategically reinventing the things that multiply. Better equipment, right? Education, right? Your team members, right? Increase their capacity and knowledge and education, right? Of course, marketing. You need marketing. And you need systems that increase efficiency. Every quarter, you reinvest a percentage back into the business. That reinvestment compounds. That's how you go from 6 figures to 7 figures to 8 figures, right? And here's some of the core principles. Financial foundation, which is tier 2, is about building stability in systems. Resource multiplication is tier 3, is about making those systems grow. You're not just managing money, you're multiplying it. You're not just earning income, you're creating assets. You're not just working, you're building wealth, right? This is how you achieve sovereignty and move toward significance. And here's the critical thing. You can't multiply what you don't have. That's why you had to build the financial foundation in the first tier. The first tier in tier 2, right? But once you built it, you multiply it. That's pillar number 5. And here's pillar number 6. Whew. Man, just in time. Pillar number 6 is peak performance, baby. Peak performance. This pillar operates your physical vitality at maximum capacity under sustained pressure. Building block number 6 was physical vitality, your 4 components: energy systems, recovery protocols, performance, nutrition, movement, mastery. You put the foundation, you established the routines, you created systems for health. But peak performance is different. This isn't just about being healthy. This is performing at championship levels. When the stakes are highest and the pressure is most intense, this is what the Navy SEALs, this is the Navy SEAL of physical readiness. This is professional athlete level preparation. This is sustained excellence under extreme demand. And here's how it works. Peak performance, right? Peak performance is optimized energy management. You don't just have energy, you strategically deploy energy to match your highest value activities. Most highest cognitive demand is between 06 and 10 o'clock. That's when I do strategic planning, critical decision making, complex problem solving, right? My physical peak is from 05 to 06. That's when I normally do PT. My creative peak is from 2,100 hours to 2,200 hours. That's when I prep for the podcast content, right? I don't fight my natural energy cycles. I leverage them, right? And peak performance, right, has a component in it. It's called stress adaptation, right? You build capacity to perform better under stress, under pressure, not make it worse. Most people fall apart when stress increases. Final bosses get sharper. How? How, you ask? Through systematic exposure to controlled stress. High intensity training, deliberate practice, competition that forces peak execution, challenges that push you beyond your comfort zone. Combat taught me, right? Combat served in 2 combat tours. 3. 2. If you know, you know. Once in Afghanistan and the other in Iraq. The other one I can't mention, right? When bullets are flying, when mortar rounds are coming in, when you give me a second, right? in combat, right? You can't fall apart. You have to remain clear. You have to stay focused. You have to be decisive. You have to rely on your training, the training that you've been through. And on here, the training that you built. That's peak performance, right? And peak performance component number 3 is recovery supremacy. You don't just work hard, you recover hard so you can work hard again. Elite athletes don't just train intensely, they rest intensely, they sleep intensely, they recover systematically, right? You have to have recovery protocols. 7 to 8 hours of sleep, which is impossible. That's one of the biggest hangups that I have a problem with. I wish I could get 8 hours of sleep. I fight to get that. I'm a work in progress. I'm on this journey just like you, right? We're on this journey together, final bosses. We're on this journey together. You have to have active recovery sessions, right? You have to have strategic deloading, right? You have to have mental recovery. You can't perform at peak levels 365 days straight, but you can perform at peak levels during high value campaigns if you recover properly in between. Component number 4 is sustained excellence. This is the ultimate test. Can you maintain championship performance? Not for a day, not for a week, but for years. I've been executing at high levels for 23 plus years, right? That's not a sprint. That's a marathon at a sprinter's pace. How did I do it? Through systematic peak performance protocols that are sustainable. Not trying to take yourself out, right? Build systems that support long term excellence. Protecting recovery and regeneration. Making performance a lifestyle, not a temporary push. Physical vitality is the foundation. Peak performance is the deployment. You built the engine, now you're running it at maximum capacity for sustained periods. That's pillar number 6. And that's how you operate. That's how you operate at final boss levels. That's how you operate at motivator levels. That's how you operate at smarts levels. That's how you operate at warriors levels. All of these are levels that you can operate physically, right? Now, let's pivot for a second. I'm going to show you how all 6 pillars work together. And I know I'm going to go over. It's okay, right? Now, let me show you how all 6, right? If my cousin Brosen, if you're watching, I got the pick. I'm gonna take a look at it after the show. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you 1000%, 100 miles, baby. Listen, because those pillars, they work together. It's an integrated execution system, right? They're not separate. They're interconnected. They're a system. And I'm gonna walk you through what it is to do this, right? You need, and pillar 1, you had strategic deployment. Pillar 2, you had consistent application. Pillar 3, you had skill implementation. Pillar 4, you had network activation. Pillar 5, you had resource multiplication. Pillar 6, you had peak performance. All of those together, right? All of those together, right? You have the 6 pillars of success. They're a system. Strategic deployment without skill implementation is just planning with no capability. Skill implementation without network activation is just working alone against teams. Network activation without resource multiplication can't scale opportunities. Resource multiplication without peak performance burns you out. Peak performance without consistent application is temporary intensity, not sustained excellence. Consistent application without strategic deployment is busy work, not progress. You need all six. And when you have all six, when you're working together as an integrated system, that's when you achieve final boss status. That's when you dominate. That's when you dominate. That's when competition becomes irrelevant because you're operating at a level they can't even comprehend. They can't even comprehend, right? You're the LeBron James of your system, right? And level number, tier three. Tier three, right? Tier three. Let's zoom out for a second. All right. Let's look at tier three. Tier three framework, right? You had tier one framework just to get you just caught up. Tier one, 6 pillars of success. Tier two, building blocks of reward. Tier three, pillars of execution, right? Remember, tier three follows the same pattern as tier two. It's a 6-5-3 progression. We've covered the 6 pillars of execution, right? In the next couple of episodes, we're going to be talking about the scales of empire. We're going to be talking about the thrones of mastery, right? But the 6 pillars of execution is deploying what you built at championship levels. The scales, the 5 scales of empire is multiplying your deployment across all domains. The 3 thrones of mastery is achieving ultimate positioning and legacy. The pyramid narrows as you ascend. Complexity decreases, but power increases. You're moving from executing many things to mastering fewer things at legendary levels. And here's the complete journey, right? Here's the complete journey. Tier 1 is your character foundation. It's the 6 pillars of success, right? You had the cornerstone of magnificence. You identified your why. You completed the momentum code, which made you unstoppable and in your forward movement. Tier 2 was the building blocks of reward. It's what you build. It's the 5 systems of sovereignty. It's your operational infrastructure. It's the 4 weapons of warfare. It's your competitive arsenal. And tier 3, right? Tier 3, elite execution. Your pillars of execution. How did you deploy? The 5 scales of empire. How did you multiply? 3 thrones of mastery. How did you dominate? That's 9 frameworks. That's the complete transformation from chess piece to chess master, from amateur to final boss. Most people never get past tier 1. They stay stuck in personal development forever. Some people rush tier 3 without building tier 1 and tier 2. They try to execute without character and infrastructure. They burn out and fail and crash out. But not you. Not you, my final bosses. Not you. Not you, my motivators. Not you, my warriors. Not you, my smarts, right? You've legitimately progressed through all 3 tiers. You've become unstoppable. You've got the character in tier 1. You've got the infrastructure in tier 2. You got the execution capability in tier 3 to achieve anything you set your mind to. And that's what makes you a final boss, right? Welcome to the community. Welcome to the family. Welcome to the Final Boss Nation, right? The fired up train is at full throttle. Now, let me bring it back to the fired up train, right? Because I love the fired up train metaphor. And this is why we're here, right? Because this is important. Tier 1 was becoming the engineer who could drive the train. You built the character. You built and developed the discipline. You found your why. You created momentum. Tier 2 was building the train itself. You constructed the blocks. You installed the systems. You mounted the weapons. You created a battle train ready for war. Tier 3 is pulling the throttle and driving that train at full speed through the competitive territory, conquering markets, dominating sectors, and leaving everyone else wondering what just happened. This is the pillars of execution. They're your operational controls, strategic deployment, consistent application, skill implementation, network activation, resource multiplication, peak performance. Listen, when all 6 are working together, the fired up train doesn't just move, it dominates. It doesn't avoid obstacles, it crushes them. It doesn't compete with other trains, it laps them. And here's what's the beautiful about this system. Once your train is at full throttle, once all 6 pillars of success are executing at championship levels, the momentum becomes self-sustaining. You're not pushing anymore. You're being pulled toward the systems you built. You're not forcing execution. Execution becomes automatic. You're not struggling to perform. Peak performance becomes your baseline. That's when you know you've achieved final boss status. That's when the building phase is complete and the domination phase is active. And that's what I want for each and every last one of us as we move forward, right? As we move forward, while everyone else is starting their journey, writing their cute little plans for the new year, hoping and wishing and maybeing, right? Maybeing. You're already at full throttle. You've got your character developed. You did that in tier 1. You've got your infrastructure built. You did that in tier 2. And you're deploying execution. That's what we're working on for tier 3. This is where we are. The fired up train is moving at maximum velocity and nothing is going to stop it. All aboard the fired up train. Now, let's get practical, right? How do you actually deploy the 6 pillars, right? Starting now, here's an execution protocol. Strategic deployment activation. Right now, this week, design something, a campaign for the next 90 days. Break into that campaign weekly. Create your battle plans, right? Identify 3 high-value actions. Schedule deployments of these time blocks in your calendar. Don't wait to plan. Plan now. You can execute immediately. Matter of fact, you should be executing right now. Right now. You need consistent application. Lock in, people. It's time to lock in. It's time for you to lock in. Your life is going to continue to pass you by. Lock the fuck in. Lock the fuck in, people. It's time to lock in, right? No more excuses, right? It's time to execute your morning routine, right? It's time to protect your work habits and operate from a level of excellence. It's time for you to complete your evening review, your AAR. Set the standard every single day. Review, review, review. That's how you become a master, right? How you start sets the tone for everything that follows, right? And skill implementation, right? Week 1, identify one way to deploy this new skill set, right? Execute that skill set. Document what works and what doesn't, right? Adjust in the next week. Don't wait until you're ready. Do it now. Deploy these skills now. Immediate, right? Immediately, right? In the second week, come up with three precision asks. Look at the value in the people in your network, right? Identify one strategic partnership opportunity with the people that's in your network. Schedule quarterly relationship cultivation plans, right? Activate your network early when everyone's engaged and responsive, right? Now, resource multiplication, right? You need additional income. Start working on a plan to make that happen. And I'm not talking about a second job. Nothing against people who have second jobs, but I'm not talking about a second job, right? You need to leverage what you have, right? Do a self-assessment, right? Leverage what you have. Stop making other people rich. All right. On down the road, create or acquire some sort of asset that may generate passive value and passive income. Right. Wash, rinse, repeat. Reinvest, allocate. Right. Now, your peak performance. You have to optimize your energy. You have to build stress adaptations, right? And deliberate challenges. Execute recovery protocols. Sustain excellence through proper regeneration, right? And do right. You got to have a call to action. Do a 30-day challenge on yourself, on the 6 pillars of execution, right? Do this, man. I guarantee you will become unrecognizable. Your results will multiply. Your confidence will explode. Your momentum will be unstoppable. That's the execution launch protocol. Now, right? Now, whew, man, I had that energy tonight. I sure did. Here's another challenge for you, right? Here's another challenge, the execution challenge, right? Starting now, you're committing to execute for the next 30 days. Create a scorecard, right? Do strategic deployment, have consistent application, look at the skills, review, have resource multiplication, discuss with your network, optimize your peak performance, right? Lastly, you need accountability, right? Use your scorecard as accountability, right? Post in the Final Boss podcast community. Use hashtags, right? Identify who you are, what episode, so forth, and so forth, so forth and so on, right? We're here every Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern time, right? Drop it in the chat, right? One of these days, I'll have giveaways for merch. You see the merch, right? I have giveaways for the merch and for Go Time, right? It's coming. Those days are coming, right? Signed copies. Listen, shout outs on the podcast, man. Invitation, right? Invitations to strategies and Final Boss Network and Final Boss University, right? But here's the real prize. If you execute, you will transform your life. You're into the next phase. Momentum, highest levels that people never achieve. You will have results that people only dream about. You will have the confidence that people can't understand. You will have systems in place that people never build. You will be operating at final boss levels while your competition is still struggling with basic execution. So, who's in? Who's in? Raise your hand. Who's in? Who's in? Who's in? Right? Who's in? Who's in? Who's in? Right? Who's in? Raise your hand. Right? Drop a fire in the chat if you're in, if you're committed. Right? Tag 3 people who need to hear this. Tag 3 people who you want to join you on this journey. Right? This is how final bosses roll. We don't make resolutions, we execute systems. It's all aboard the fired up train. And we're coming to an end of episode number 165. And the launch of tier 3 elite execution. And let me leave you with this. You can't change what's behind you. You can't redo the decisions you made or didn't make. You can't recover lost time. But what's ahead? That's yours. And the question is, how are you moving forward? Most people will continue the same way they've been going, with hope, with wishes, with maybe things that through discovery, right? But you're moving forward with something better than hope. You're moving with character. You had the 6 pillars of success developed. You're moving with infrastructure. You had the building blocks of reward. You had the 5 systems of sovereignty. You have the 4 weapons of warfare. You're moving with execution capability, right? You're not hoping for better results. You're creating better results through systematic execution at championship levels. You're not wishing things to improve. You're in engineering improvement through frameworks you built. You're not maybeing. You're way forward. You're dominating your sector through strategic deployment. That's the difference between people who make plans and final bosses who execute systems. So here's the call to action, right? This week, design your 90-day plan, right? Next week, execute the 30-day challenge, right? Week 3, make sure you're here every Monday as we continue to build, right? That's accountability. That's troubleshooting. That's community support. Make sure you go share this episode with at least 3 people. Send them the link, tell them about the challenges, bring them onto the journey, right? Go get your copy of Go Time. Go get your copy. Go get your copy of Go Time, right? All aboard the Fired Up train. Go Time 2, the train is leaving the station, is on its way. If you haven't already heard, right? Review the foundations. Prepare for tier 3 frameworks. The infrastructure is complete. The weapons are loaded. The pillars are activated. The Fired Up train is at full throttle. The only question left is, are you on board? Are you on board? Right? I'm your host, the one and only, the final boss, right? And this has been episode number 165. And to my smarts, keep thinking critically. To my final bosses, keep building empires. To my motivators, keep inspiring action. To my warriors, keep executing relentlessly. It's your time to dominate. It's all aboard the Fired Up train. And guess what? I will see you guys again tomorrow night for Tech Tuesday with me, the Sensei. Right? It's go time, people. It's go time. Let's go. Thank you. That is our show for tonight. Make sure that you like, share, subscribe. Right? Like, share, subscribe. And bring a team together. We're all on this journey together, man. All on this journey together. It's been fun. It's been real. And if all of this resonates with you, let it marinate in your spine. And remember, there's a heavy pain that comes with discipline, but the pain of regret is even heavier. I am here. We are here. This has been the Final Boss Podcast. This is Final Boss Nation, Final Boss Community. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to each and every last single one of you. Be smart. No, let me start all over. Be balanced, be equal, and be smart. That is our show, episode number 165. Thank you for joining us. I'll see you again tomorrow night on Tuesday for Tech Tuesday. Have a great night. Talk to you soon. Good night.